and welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Appreciate your patience here this morning as we got set and ready to go for you in this beautiful, wonderful week. The sun is shining where I am. Hopefully it is where you are as well. But if you shine from the inside out, the sun is always in your life. So make sure you take care of that happiness from the inside and let it shine through. With that being said, we are here for you today with an awesome show up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.mixlr.com. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you so much for being here with us where sports meets life inside of these Great Lakes Honda City studios. And Great Lakes Honda City is available to you Monday through Saturday at 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York, and all the time online at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. We are with Jason Lucas this morning. He'll be joining me for hour number one. Jason, a longtime sports and entertainment vet with so much to offer, a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and experience throughout the years, and of course, a brother to me. We'll be talking about the UCF football program, the Big 12 overall, and a little bit about the NFL in hour number one. And in hour number two, I will be joined by Will Mahoney. Will Mahoney from Binghamton Bearcats men's soccer, who are in their 2026 season. Believe it or not, it's already started. People are not even back to school yet, and college soccer is already on the pitch. So we'll hear from Will in an all-new Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. And then we'll round things out with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli's, speaking about time management, something we can all get better at, me included. So that's coming up to round out the show. With that being said, Mr. Lucas is here with me, picture in picture. Jason, how are we doing?
Doing great, Dan, here in Orlando, where the season is looking so bright for our hometown team that I might need to put on a little black and gold shades just to get ready for Scott Frost and those guys to get things going this year.
Yeah, well, I love it. I love it. I love the play on words there with UCF and this football program. And we'll start there. Scott Frost is somebody that you and I both liked when he was at UCF the first time around. We were both in support of the work that he was doing. At that time, it was UCF Fast. And so Syracuse at the time, too, was trying to kind of play into it a little bit. And, you know, maybe some other schools, but UCF had brought it out, and UCF was the one that was finding success to an undefeated season. And then when he left to go to Nebraska, they continued to stay undefeated with pretty much an entire new staff. And so I don't know if any sport anywhere in this country has ever at any level gone undefeated, lost their entire staff, and then went undefeated in a regular season again. 25-0 before they lost by one possession to LSU on the West Coast in a bowl game. So now Frost is back. Do you feel that this second coming of Scott Frost can be just as good as the first one? Better? How are you assessing it?
Yeah, when you keep your ears open around the program, you're hearing that this second year of the second coming is actually looking so much brighter just because he's brought in guys that he trusts and guys that are pulling all the same direction, and guys that he's excited about. He's getting us excited about him. And, things are looking up this year as far as, just everything around the program. Everything's actually feeling much better, and where maybe we can look toward a bowl game this year, or even, just be one of those national surprises like we were in 2017.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, there's of who he's brought in. There's the hope in the second year of the second coming of Scott Frost at UCF that this would be better. Who are some of those guys that he has brought in this second year that you're feeling really could make a difference, make a change in a positive way?
Yeah, I'd say first of all, you got to go with quarterback Alonzo Barnett, who led James Madison to the college football playoff last season, which I know you're really familiar with.
Yep.
Barnett went into Oregon, gave them all they wanted. And this is a kid that can move around the pocket. He can run all over the place if he needs to. He can put the ball where he needs to deep. This is a kid that we're actually really getting excited about after getting to finally watch him in fall camp. He sat out in the spring with a little kind of knee issue that he had lingering from last season. So very excited about Alonzo Barnett. In the backfield, you've got a couple different running backs. Tavion Swint being one of those that's a local kid. that did great things at Osceola here. So we're looking for him. Receiver room's looking deep. They got a guy that they call Scary Dairy that's having a heck of a fall camp. So could be the old school Scott Frost offense this year at UCF. Dylan Wade at tight end. He was there last year. He had a little shoulder injury in the middle of the season that held him out a little bit. But he could be one of the top tight ends in the country, we think. So the only question mark for UCF on offense is that offensive line, and we're hoping that some of the guys he brought in are going to be able to gel quickly and be able to bring it together for a great season.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, an offensive line, and it's funny because when George O'Leary was the head coach at UCF at the time, he said something to me that stuck with me forever since he said it, and I'm sure it'll always be with me, and that is his statement about you build from the inside out, you build from the trenches, the offensive and defensive line. If you don't know that that's how you build a championship team, you should probably get into another profession. So those were his words to me all those years ago when we were at the American Conference kickoff in Rhode Island at the time, when we were just pulled up two chairs and we're sitting across from each other having a candid and very genuine conversation, which I will always appreciate those moments with anybody, including with George O'Leary, who also was a former Syracuse assistant. So shout out to my hometown. So the offensive line, you said offensively for UCF this season, 2026, that's the only question mark. Are you hearing anything in that respect? Is there any depth there, guys returning? Because as we talked about, if you don't have a good old line, doesn't matter how many skill guys you got.
Yeah, I think that it's only time's really gonna tell how good they are. You can't, for me, fall camp, you kind of see a rep here or there. It's really hard to tell if they're gelling. So, I can't wait to get out there. It's, we're a week away now, so I can't wait to get out there and watch and be able to see, are they protecting the passer? Last year you had Cam Fancher playing quarterback, come out the first drive and there was no blocking from day one. And they lost him in the first or second drive of the season. He takes a hit. So the great thing about it is when you have a quarterback that's elusive, which thankfully Barnett is really good at that.
Yeah.
If he can get out of the pocket and make things happen when things do break down, that's going to be the huge difference that, you saw him do that at James Madison last year. And if he can get out of the pocket and make things happen, that'll bail them out of a lot of situations with the offensive line, thankfully.
Yeah, and then defensively, you and I were talking off the air about this UCF team yesterday in, preparation for today. And you had said that, this is a defense that was strong last year that they can build off of. So as the offense finds their way and as the offense looks to gel and get connected and get down the field, you believe that this defense could potentially just take what they did last year, improve even more, and provide an opportunity for the offense to not have to score 1,000,000 points.
Yeah, I'd say one of the big NIL wins for UCF was getting Horace Lockett back. We were really worried that we were going to lose him in the free agency that is college football these days. So Horace Lockett, a big 300-pound defensive tackle, will help UCF be able to control the other team's run game. Right, that's the biggest thing is making them throw the ball and on the back end, guys like Braden Marshall that make big plays for that defense. Lewis Carter at linebacker had a great year last year. Great that we were able to bring him back. And then Cole Kozlowski was a guy that is able to take advantage of this new law they put in place for the guys from 2022. So they were able to bring him back from between NFL and UFL, and he's able to come back and be a super senior on this defense and just provide some leadership. I think that's going to be a big thing for them is just having a leader and a captain on that defensive side of the ball. How much he plays remains to be seen just because of being in between things. He didn't really know what was going on. So he even said he was sitting on the couch when he got the call that he'd be able to come back. So, just excited about the defense. They only gave up 23 points a game last year, which was good for seventh in the conference. So if they're able to improve on that and the offense is able to be way better than it was last year with kind of a just makeshift unit, this could be a team that's dangerous, and that's what gives us a little bit of that hopium here.
Yeah, and we look at the transfers that came in this year. The names, wide receiver wise, Josh Derry, Jonathan Bibbs, as well as, and then we look at the offensive line, Henry Tabansi, Brady Wayburn coming in at left tackle and right guard, respectively. Also brought in Tyler Gibson and Cooper Terpstra on the offensive line. And then at tight end, Grayson Brissau. And then quarterback, like you mentioned, Alonzo Barnett the third. And then bringing in behind him, Caleb Annett and Keon Jenkins. Those are all guys. They have a freshman and 3 transfers. Nobody is a returning quarterback on this UCF team. And then Landon Chambers at running back, Duke Watson, both transferred in. Defensively, there's a ton of names here. Defensive end, Bruno Dahl, as well as L.A. Jesse Harold coming in at the defensive end position. And then at D tackle, we have Brad Gurley Jr., Thomas Collins, as well as Artavius Jones. At the other defensive end position, Ken Talley. And then at linebacker, you have Jaleel Culbreth, Rashad Henry, as well as Tackett Curtis. And then on the defensive back route, we have Jalen Duffy, Caleb Flagg, Ty Bartram, as well as Matt Irwin, Antoine Branch Jr., Kamel Johnson, all there when it comes to the defensive backs. And then interesting here on special teams, the punter, the place kicker, the kickoff guy, the long snapper, the holder, these are all guys that have transferred in. So you have Atticus Bertrams as your punter who's transferred in, Will Stone, who's your place kicker and kickoff guy, transferred in. You have Kyle Hicks as your long snapper, transferred in, and then Atticus is also the holder as at the punter position and the holder position. So that was something I found interesting too, is that we talk about offense and defense so many times around the country, but on this show I always talk about special teams as well, and having a new place kicker and kickoff guy, new long snapper, and a new punter on the team on top of all the other newness to this team really shows you that they went into the portal here in year 2 for Scott Frost's second coming and are hoping that they can get these guys to connect very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I just listening to Frost, and unfortunately for me, I don't get to go out to practice, so a lot of my analysis at this point is listening to voices that are at practice.
Yeah.
So hoping their ability to evaluate talent is as good as mine, as far as giving us hope that this is going to be a really good season versus, before they got talking, there wasn't a lot of juice around the football program. So hoping that these good things I'm hearing are actually going to come to fruition on the field. And it is good to hear Scott Frost saying things like, we had some guys last year, and it was in the news that he had cut a few guys going into the BYU game on the road, and he had said that, I feel better about the guys we have in here because I cut out some guys that weren't pulling the same direction that we all are.
Yeah.
And I feel like he had a lot more time this year, just a normal cycle. Obviously, he came in December the first year, so he really had to put it all together in 2 to 3 weeks. So having a normal off season, being able to bring in a quarterback that, if he has the season that everybody's thinking he could have, you could hear this be a Heisman sleeper guy. So just feel like there's a lot of hope around the program right now. The schedule's favorable. Some of your bigger games are at home, like BYU. Having that home field advantage for UCF is a big thing. Getting that bounce house rocking, big thing. And for Frost and those guys, it's just figuring out how to win games on the road, which is where they struggled and cost them a bowl game last year.
Yeah, and this is a team who, as we talked about before, has had success in the not too far away past, and had it in that first coming of Scott Frost, where the team went 6-7 in their first season, then 13-0, and they won the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And then on from there, the Fiesta Bowl is where the team got to. They didn't win it, but under Josh Heupel went 12-1, as I was saying there, 25 straight wins. with a coaching change and then that one loss coming at the end in the Fiesta Bowl. Heupel, being with this program, went 12-1, 10-3, and then went 6-4 before moving on to Tennessee. Of course, Scott Frost had moved on to Nebraska, his alma mater, and then coming in from Auburn, Gus Malzahn went 9-4, 9-5, 6-7, and then 4-8 before Scott Frost returned, and the team went 5-7 last year, and like you said, close to a bowl game. We will discuss where UCF is heading now in the Big 12, and we'll take an overall look at the Big 12 right after this fast break. And if you're wondering, hey, Dan, why are we talking about a Florida team here going into the season? Well, those of you that know me know Florida in Focus has been a segment on my show for many, many years, dating all the way back to the Dan Tortora show, what it was called, back in 2009. You also know Florida is the second hub of my company, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, for a lot of reasons. And we've worked to bring you national and international coverage. And so on the heels of my Big 12 interviews last month, we're now keying in on UCF of the Big 12 with someone who knows the team all too well in Jason Lucas. We'll be back here on Wake Up Call in just a moment with that black and gold and the overall look at the Big 12 that has 16 teams. So maybe we got to look at that name. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, this is Gina Husted. I'm part owner of Skippy's Ice Cream. The other half is my better half, Don Husted Jr. When somebody comes up to the truck and it's a family, it's nice that the older generation is nostalgic and they can tell the younger generation, back in my day, we used to have the truck around our neighborhood. So now you're lucky because the truck can come to your party, and you're lucky that this truck is at a festival and you're getting to buy the ice cream. And basically we're ice cream that comes to you now, specifically comes to you, not for you waiting for us. We're coming to you. We will do neighborhoods if you have a block party. We do birthdays, we do anniversaries, we do celebrations of life, we do wedding showers, we do festivals, we'll do corporate events, we have a lot of corporate picnics, we have family reunions, so it's a whole wide range of whatever party you have, we'd love to be at. We're so appreciative of the community, always coming up to us at festivals and calling us to have different events. We have a lot of return customers. We always have people coming up to our truck. We're always there for the community. We always try to give back to different organizations and fundraisers, and so I think the community sees that. We like to give back to them. This is where we live. This is where we were raised. This is where our kids were raised. So the community is very special to us. I mean, obviously, we've lived here our whole lives. So it means a lot that they come up to our truck and that they choose us, because we're just there to please the community and deal with as many people as we can in this community, because this is, like I said, where we were born and raised. If you'd like to get in touch with Skippy's Ice Cream and have us at your next event, I would suggest using our email, skipthecake, skipthecake, skipthecake@gmail.com. That's the fastest way to get a hold of us. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us, and that's going to get the fastest response from us. If you choose to call, if you don't have an email, then you can call 315-456-9750, and we'll be glad to get back to you as soon as we can. Skippy's Ice Cream, the original ice cream truck.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily?
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. It could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to Buffalo, they're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to have you here with us Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, I'm picture in picture with Jason Lucas as we are discussing with the sports and entertainment vet the UCF football program heading into 2026 with Florida in focus. And I've covered a bunch of teams in the great state of Florida over these last few weeks and over these many years, including UCF, South Florida, Miami, Florida State, and so on and so forth. So happy to, and FAU, so happy to be able to have this time today to continue the conversation of those Florida-based schools. And of course, Central Florida, Orlando, a city that I love, and another city, I would say, to New York, that doesn't sleep. So not a lot of sleeping in Orlando. Not a lot of sleeping because it's so friggin' hot that when it's 82 degrees at 3 o'clock in the morning, suffocating, you wake up sometimes. I remember being in my condo in Kissimmee that I was living in, and I opened up the door. I was on the phone. It was like late at night. I was like, I'm going to go sit outside, relax, have some privacy. I opened the door, and it was like, and I was like, I'm going to go back inside. Like, I couldn't even breathe at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was insane. So I hope y'all cool down a little bit in a good way in Florida. and that you're all doing well. We're talking about your UCF Knights, and last season the team went 2-7 in the Big 12, 0-5 on the road, and 2-2 at home. Jason was talking about needing to win on the road this season away from the bounce house. They had a record of 5-7, which kept them one game out of qualifying for a bowl game, which typically is 6-6. There are some years where 5-7 teams go because they have more spots and not enough 6-6 teams or better. So Jason, bring me into just what you saw of their play in the Big 12. The record was 2-7, 0-5 on the road, but the record is not always indicative of how each of those games went. Were there moments that you felt like were close enough that this record could have shifted a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the game that was a little dose of having hope was against West Virginia. We kind of blew them out pretty bad.
Yeah.
And that was the game where our quarterback looked the best. And, you felt like, oh, maybe we're turning a corner. But he played injured so much of the season that he just wasn't able to be super effective.
Yeah.
So there was also the BYU game, though, where, you go on the road, hostile environment. It was loud there, sold out. Toward the end of the season, it was cold there. And UCF takes a 14-0 lead in the first quarter, which they hadn't done on anybody of note all season. So there was definitely, a good feeling there before, BYU got it going and got back in the game and took the lead and ended up winning the game. But I mean, when you're rebuilding a program, it's like we were just talking about. Scott Frost is, had his full off season now. You feel like a corner can be turned this year, bringing in a very talented quarterback that's, noteworthy, was in the college football playoff last year, a little bit road tested with that, trip to Oregon last year.
Yeah.
There's a chance we could be good this year, and there's a chance that, Scott Frost could work his magic this year and make this team that's, 50-1 to win the conference, could make them a more likely candidate to win the conference with a few wins to start the year.
Yeah, I mean, and when we look at this season coming up for UCF, their 2026 campaign is going to see them have this start off to the season. It's going to be against Bethune-Cookman, which is in state. That is a non-conference game on September 3rd. Then they'll be on the road at Pitt. And so a team I know all too well up in the Northeast. They consider themselves the Midwest sometimes, that they're closer to Ohio. But I consider them a Northeast school. Then they have Georgia State and TCU. All of their non-conference games will be played in the first 4 weeks. Then they will be going to, TCU in the Big 12. I always forget that TCU's in the Big 12. I really do. And it's not, my apologies to them. So Bethune, Pitt, Georgia State, non-conference. TCU will be the first conference game for UCF this season on September 26th. Then they'll be at Houston, at Oklahoma State. They'll get BYU at home 3 days after my birthday on October 24th. Then they will have Baylor at home, at Kansas, Arizona State, Iowa State, and then they will be on the road at Colorado, because now, as we look at some conference changes here, playing 9 conference games as opposed to 8 conference games is what a lot of conferences are doing, and definitely in the autonomy group of the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC. So their non-conference will be in those first 3 weeks, and then before September ends, they'll already be in 2 conference play, which is atypical of the past. This is their 4th season, Jason, inside of the Big 12 for UCF. They've gone 6-7 overall, 4-8, and 5-7. So they do not have a winning record since joining the Big 12. Your thoughts on year 4 and this schedule, knowing that TCU, BYU, Baylor, Arizona State, and Iowa State will be at home, and then Houston, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Colorado will be on the road inside of the Big 12.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is having those Red Raiders off our schedule at Texas Tech. Obviously, the most money spent there.
Yeah.
They're the favorites to win the conference. We don't have them on the schedule at all. We had to go there last year and get blown out. So thankfully you avoid that. BYU being at home, a huge deal. They bring a good crowd too. BYU. I've been to a few UCF BYU games where it's, you almost feel like you're at Florida, Georgia, because they do bring a lot of people into the bounce house. There's a lot of people from out west that actually live here. You find a lot of them are locals, so they know all the secrets of how to infiltrate our parking spots and all that good stuff. So that's going to be a huge game. And just to borrow a line, like wake me up when September ends, because that's my outlook on the season at that point. Once you see how they do at Pitt, how they do against TCU, that's when I'm really going to be like, well, this is going to suck, or
Yeah.
we might have a chance here. We just might. You never know. So, once you get that first conference game out of the way, it'll really set the tone for how the year may unfold. I'm excited for at Colorado. I think, that's one of the most loud places to play in the conference. If they're good this year and we're good this year, that could be a big game on Thanksgiving weekend. Coach Prime always has his guys ready to play. I don't care if people are on Twitter making fun of how small his team is.
Yeah.
They could be very good and very scary to play. They came into UCF a couple of years ago with Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn and Shador, and they blew our doors off. So you just don't know what you're going to get out of them. But I mean, that could be a big game at the end of the year if UCF is fighting to get into the conference championship game.
Yeah, and I also looking at the schedule for UCF, I like the fact that they have TCU at home, BYU at home, Baylor at home, Arizona State, who's had recent success and been to the college football playoff a couple of years ago. I mean, I think those are massive that they do not have to play those games on the road. I think, you'll be tested by Oklahoma State on the road, of course. Houston with Willie Fritz has gotten better. And as you mentioned, that Colorado game, you never know what's going to happen. I think, when I think of Colorado Buffaloes and I think of the UCF Knights, the similarity to me is both of these teams can play spoiler. Both of these teams can be better than you think they're going to be. And both of these teams' talent may shock you at times if you're not ready for it. I think that being the last regular season game for both teams could be something really special, depending on, like you said, where they're at, because I see Colorado or UCF being a team that might be underappreciated, underrepresented, and not spoken about as much, very underrated, and they can be the team that stops something for somebody else. So the fact that they get to face each other at the end of the regular season will be interesting, and then seeing whose season they may have spoiled along the way. I just see similarities between Colorado and UCF.
Yeah, it doesn't end with the colors and being confused who's who when they play each other with the black and gold. But yeah, no, Coach Prime's gone in there and done a great job getting those guys ready, putting together, he's not afraid to go into the portal either. And, I think that they could be really good and another surprise team in our conference, just like you do. Yeah, I think the same thing.
Yeah, so we shall see. The Big 12 last year ended with Texas Tech and BYU at the top. Texas Tech having it over BYU, even though they both had an 8-1 record because of head-to-head play. And then Utah followed them with Houston in the top 4. Arizona rounded out the top 5, followed by in-state rival Arizona State, TCU, Iowa State, Cincinnati, Kansas State, Baylor, Kansas, UCF, West Virginia, Colorado, and Oklahoma State. Believe it or not, Oklahoma State, being one of the teams that was there before this realignment, they were the team that had a winless record in the conference. They went 0-9 last year, and Texas Tech and BYU, besides them being 8-1, the other winning records, Utah, Houston, Arizona, Arizona State, TCU, Iowa State, Cincinnati, and Kansas State. So of all the schools that came in from the American, 2 of those 3 had a winning record last season, with Houston and Cincinnati, and then UCF being 2-7 had the losing record. And overall, there were, of the 16 schools, 6 of them were below 500. Everybody else is 500 or better of the remaining 10. What do you think about the overall look of the Big 12? Texas Tech has a new quarterback no matter what happens. BYU, their coach potentially was called to Penn State, but said no and decided to stay with BYU. Willie Fritz, who you and I have talked about a lot, and I got to sit with one-on-one once again. I mean, he's found success wherever he's been. He's now doing it in Houston. They were 6-3 last year with an overall record of 10-3. Outside, when you look at the Big 12 to the overall season, a double-digit winning season for Willie Fritz. So where is the Big 12 this year, in your opinion? Are there some darlings? Is it wide open? Are there teams you expect to continue success? Are there sleepers? Where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a conference that's been won by 6 different schools in the last 6 years. So there's, it is wide open.
Yeah.
And I think everything about it is wide open. The offenses are always very talented. The defense kind of takes a back seat in this conference. And again, that's what gives us a little bit of hope at UCF is that, our defense was pretty good last year. They might be a little better this year. If we can play better defense and better offense, we could be right in the mix of things. You just don't know. So I feel like everybody in the conference has a shot. Everybody's got their playmakers. Everybody's kind of right there. It's one of those conferences that week to week you're not going to know what to bet on for sure. you should probably bet the money on every game and just see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, and I think with the Big 12 being so wide open, as you spoke about, I mean, it leads for great excitement. I mean, Texas Tech went to the college football playoff, but they didn't play well in the Capital One Orange Bowl. I was at that game where Oregon and Texas Tech were trying their best to not score. So there was a very, people want to call it a defensive game, but I don't think it was good defense as much as it was bad offense. And so that game it was tough to watch. BYU is a team that was independent. They came in when the 3 schools from the American came in, going into 4 years ago, with this being the 4th season for all of them. So to see their success has been huge. Utah used to play spoiler in the Pac-12. Now they're trying to do it in the Big 12. And like I said, Houston under Willie Fritz is finding their success. And then credit to Arizona and Arizona State, who have fallen off the map out in the old Pac-12, and Arizona getting some positive push moving forward here last year. And in Arizona State, a couple of years ago, they gave me an instant classic at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl against Texas with Cam Scadaboo, who's now a New York Giant going into year 2. So what I like about the Big 12 is the teams that they've added have had immediate success, and they've definitely pushed the teams that existed, because the question was, without Oklahoma and Texas, who's the darling now? Is it Oklahoma State? Is it Baylor? Is it TCU? Well, Texas Tech has risen up the ranks here, who was there, but the BYUs and the Houstons and the Arizonas and the Utahs, they're definitely making this even more exciting. And I think the Big 12 is on pace to beat the heck out of each other. And I would venture to say we may have a different champion this year as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's the definite possibility. And it's funny because the conference is literally all over America now.
Yeah.
Like your road games can be 2,000 miles away, and that's just a normal thing. The one thing I miss with out of conference is having a local rival. I've been posting about that on Twitter a little bit lately. Like, I miss that road game that's only like 90 miles away.
Yeah.
Or like going to USF or going to Florida or FAU or Miami. Like, we don't have any of that now. So yeah, man, like we said, this conference is wide open. It will be interesting to see who comes out on top with it, because there's just such parity. And I think a lot of the NIL helps with that. Everybody's got a shot.
Yeah, everybody's got a shot. And again, I'll talk about it on tomorrow's broadcast live at 9 a.m. Eastern time this Wednesday, August 19th, the AP poll, and how I could close my eyes and tell you who's going to be in the poll before the poll comes out, because there's certain names that just never go away. However, I will say that this year, with not including Clemson and then putting Penn State closer to 20 than the top 10, those are some different things. Alabama's not in the top 10 either, but having Notre Dame at 4, we'll talk about it. And, Ohio State being 1, my surprised face, still this face. So and Oregon being number 2. I mean, what did Oregon do last year? They got blown out by Indiana, pick 6 on the first play. So we'll discuss on tomorrow's broadcast for sure. But before I let you go, Jay, as we're down in the great state of Florida, you are a Dolphin fan and a Dolphin sympathizer here. The quarterback situation features Malik Willis, Quinn Ewers, and Cam Miller, as well as Mark Gronowski, who came from Iowa, where he was coached by my guy Tim Lester. Devon Achane is there in the backfield. He's got Ollie Gordon coming back with him and Jalen Wright.
Yeah.
Malik Washington looks to be the lead wide receiver without Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle for the first time in many years for this team. Jalen Tolbert, and then Tutu Atwell, who I covered in college, Chris Bell, who they drafted that I covered in college, Jalen Rieger, who was drafted high a few years ago, Terrence Marshall Jr., who was drafted high a few years ago. A lot of guys trying to become household names, and the tight end position is full of guys that's, some of them have had some time, but full of guys that are not known to catch the ball consistently. So what are your thoughts on the offense of the Miami Dolphins, and do you think you know who the quarterback's going to be? I'm confident on who I think it should be, but would love to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I was driving down to Naples the other night, and that was during the Dolphins preseason game. But I heard that Quinn Ewers didn't play very well, and that Malik Willis played about how you'd expect him to play. He's actually a guy that can get out of the pocket and throw the ball, as opposed to Tua that we've had for many years, and the inaccuracies outside the pocket, things like that. So, I mean, there's a little bit of, I'm going to use it again, hopium with the quarterback and the fact that he can at least get out of the pocket and deliver a somewhat accurate pass. Receivers just not a bright spot on the Dolphins right now. I think there's, some maybe excitement around Malik Washington.
Yeah.
He could be that, that take the top off Tyreek Hill type of guy. He has the ability to do it.
Yeah.
You just, the question is always, what can we do on the offensive line with the Dolphins? Just always like the weak spot of the offense. So hopefully we can bring things together and it be a surprise year. I'd be shocked if my team wins more than 4 games this year.
Yeah, it seems like they're putting the eggs in the basket of going and getting a quarterback in the 2027 NFL draft. Final note, this is interesting. Roger Goodell has stated he has no doubt that an NFL team will permanently be based internationally. As the NFL continues to expand, Commissioner Roger Goodell said it's inevitable that the league will have a team outside of the United States, saying, quote, at some point, there will be NFL teams outside the USA, is what he told former NFL player Marcus Kuhn. He said, quote, I have no doubt that this will happen one day, end quote. The league's growing international profile has led to questions about whether a Super Bowl would be played as well overseas. Peter O'Reilly, the NFL's executive vice president of club business, international and league events, said in May that an international Super Bowl is, quote, not a front burner issue, end quote, as of now. But Goodell told RTL NTV that if the NFL has a team permanently located in an international city, the site could be a host to the championship game. He said, quote, there are definitely international cities that could host something like that, but we would like to see an NFL team in such a city first, and end quote. The NFL voted earlier this year to play as many as 10 international games starting in 2027, up from 8 previously. The league also voted to strip teams' ability to protect any home games from international play. The league's 2026 schedule features 9 international games, 8 league run games, and a London game as part of an agreement with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Wembley Stadium. This year's host sites are Melbourne, Australia, Rio de Janeiro, Rio de Janeiro, London, where there's 3 games, Paris, Madrid, Munich, and Mexico City. So your thoughts on that, Jason, that it's been a conversation. They brought up the Jacksonville Jaguars a bunch of times in this conversation, they being the media, not anything that was actually weighted, in my opinion, especially with all the money Jacksonville's spending on their new stadium and everything they've done for the city of Jacksonville. So every time somebody asks me, is Jacksonville the team that's going to go overseas? My response is, I have been there over a decade to watch that the city embraces them, they embrace the city, and they wouldn't be spending all of these millions of dollars way before the stadium renovation to do what they're doing. And now on top of that, the stadium renovation, I do not believe Jacksonville is going anywhere. People ask me why. I said, because I could see it with my eyes. So the fact that Roger Goodell is stating and not hiding that there will be NFL he didn't say team. He said at some point there will be NFL teams, plural, outside the United States. I have no doubt that this will happen one day. So this is the clearest the NFL has ever been about actually putting a franchise somewhere else outside of the U.S. Your thoughts?
I mean, when the NFL does these games, usually they start at 9 in the morning. So it does remind me of when I used to live in Vegas and, you just wake up and the game's on.
Yeah.
So it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
I was also kind of surprised. Obviously, I'm here in Orlando where the Jaguars are going to call home in 2027. So I was also surprised that I figured like maybe half of their schedule would be international and half of it would be here. But it sounds more like they might have their 1 or 2 internationals and then they'll be here at least half the schedule. So
yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't bother me when they play international. I think having the Super Bowl over there would be over anywhere would be crazy because it is an American holiday to have the Super Bowl. Also, Super Bowl on Valentine's Day this year. Interesting choice. But a lot of people are going to have decisions to make for sure. Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me at all when they go wherever they go because usually it's at a time that's like, oh, okay, I wouldn't have football at this time. Usually, I mean, we've sat at tailgates in Miami watching the Jaguars play their London game. So it's always cool to have something leading up to the 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
that's an actual game. I actually quite enjoy it. It doesn't bother me whatsoever that they are exposing the game internationally, and even like Kristen's friend reached out to her the other day and said, your football's coming to the Aussies. So she was excited. So it's like, hey, you expose the game to other people and they get to experience it firsthand and see what it is. I mean, I don't think I would mind going to an Australian rules football game. I think that might be fun. So
yeah,
I think it's a good thing that they're doing. I think, I disagree with Roger Goodell on a million other things, but this one, as long as we keep the Super Bowl in America, yeah, you can have international teams and, maybe you just give everybody a bye week that has to go over there and play them.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, there was an NFL Europe back in the day, and so the kind of bringing back of that in its own way under the greater NFL umbrella to bring another franchise into the NFL or multiple franchises will be interesting to see. I would imagine that London would be the first place that they look since they've had such a long connection with London, England, and then we'll see from there. I think as long as Trump is president, there's no way they're going to have one in Mexico. But we'll see what happens as we go forward here. Had to hit you with something fun, guys. So
that's great.
With that being said, that would be great. Fans trying to get back and forth over the border would be something really interesting to see for sure. But yeah. So with that being said, as you could always put one in Canada, but they won't because they have the CFL. They'll want to go overseas. If they go to Madrid, excuse to go see my family out in Spain. But Jason, as always, I appreciate the time. Always my pleasure speaking on anything in the sports and entertainment world and just to get some time with family. So I love you, brother, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon. My best to everyone. To mom and dad, obviously to Kristen and her family at this time and always, and to Carly and Gracie, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon.
We love you too here, brother. You have a wonderful day.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye.
That coming from Jason Lucas one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're going to hop right into my conversation with the Binghamton Bearcats in an all-new Bearcat Breakroom after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us.
Avicolli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicolli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot Avicolli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily?
Hello, this is Dylan Husted, the owner of the Baked Potato Express. We do mostly big festivals or big corporate like private events. Typically just big festivals such as like Taste of Syracuse, a food truck battle, Battle of the Wings. I do the state fair. They're ordering from a fresh food truck that is making real food and happy to make it and wants them to enjoy every bite. We season every potato before they go in the oven, and then they bake for an hour, and when they come out, we season them again after we cut them. We use real butter, real cheese, real ingredients, so it's all really good food, and people love it. We have a lot of returning customers and regulars that we see very often. The customers really make a big impact, and this is a big food truck community. The events here are super busy. It's like in my blood. I like building things and creating stuff that people love, and me and my friends are the ones that run the truck, so it's kind of, we keep it's a tight circle in there, and we have like a family sort of oriented truck, and it's a lot of fun, and we have a good time doing it, and people love our food, so it ends up making it well for everybody. You can contact the Baked Potato Express at thebakedpotatoexpress@gmail.com or the Baked Potato Express on Instagram or TikTok. We are very happy to be partnered up with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as the exclusive sponsor of the Annoying Moment of the Week. And be sure to try DT's Baked Potato creation at all of our food trucks. The Baked Potato Express. Let's get baked.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We appreciate you being here with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, it is always my honor, my pleasure to feature the Binghamton Bearcats here on the broadcast. So as we are here inside these Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I welcome you to another edition of the Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, centered on student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni telling their story and the greater story of the Binghamton Bearcat family. I'm here with Binghamton men's soccer student athlete inside the 2026 season, Will Mahoney. Will, how we doing?
I'm good, Dan. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I saw you enjoying my commercial break there. Some of the words, I saw little laughs coming on here and there. So I all I'll say is when you're behind the camera, I could still see you here in the studio.
Okay, it's good to know.
So Will here with us from Binghamton men's soccer. And first and foremost, Will, to me, insane that we're already in the season. I mean, we're still in August. It's mid-August. I mean, you guys were practicing and then you're on the pitch playing a game when we're not even to the midway point of August, when school typically is starting around end of August, Labor Day time in September. What is it like for you with the adjustment in the schedule of soccer at the Division I level, that you're on a campus where nobody's back yet, but you're already practicing and playing?
Yeah, I think that's honestly one of the beautiful things about it, because the spring sports, they don't really get a proper preseason. We get in 2 weeks early. There's no school, no academic responsibilities to worry about, and we're just focused on becoming the best soccer team we possibly can be. So now, today's the first day of classes. Now it's when it gets tricky, because we've gotten used to preseason, two-a-days, all that. Now, how do you kind of transfer into the school season? What is that routine going to look like now? We've got homework and classes and all that. But preseason is one of my favorite times of year. It's so much fun. Just the guys, no homework, just having fun.
Yeah, and getting started so early, like you said, spring sports don't have a traditional preseason where you get to have it and you get to go out there and have some extra time. Just what that does for the team to be on campus and not have to go to classes yet, to have the quiet. I mean, I would imagine for you and for your teammates, being on a relatively very, kind of calm campus, there's not a lot of movement going on, and not having to worry about waking up for class, doing this and that, having homework has got to pay off dividends when you get started.
Yeah, I think no doubt. Just the biggest thing is no distractions, and it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day with your teammates. I mean, you really don't get a break from them. It helps to mesh the group better. I mean, it's a great process.
So as we look in this process, we know that the coaching staff obviously changed with their head man over in the off season, and somebody who is very well known to this program and very well known to Binghamton University, but having Tommy Moon step in as the interim head men's soccer coach after many years of Paul Marco. How did you go through that kind of transition of Paul Marco being your coach and then finding out that the job was open, and then Tommy Moon getting it? It's an interim tag, so we don't know what's going to happen from here, but bring me through the process of from one coach to the next and how you kind of found out the information.
Yeah, so it was an odd timeline, because we found out, I believe, in late December or early January that Coach Marco was going to be retiring, and he hopped on a Zoom call with us and our athletic director and Tommy, and kind of announced it to us. It was a bit of a shock, to be sure, but we found out that Tommy would have the interim job up until when interviews were going to happen.
Yeah.
So we just tried to, Tommy was great from the jumping, like, all right, guys, we can only control what we can control. And while I'm your coach, I'm going to make this the best soccer team possible. And then they brought in a few candidates. And I was lucky enough, myself and two other players got the opportunity to interview some of these new candidates. And at the end of the day, athletic director Gene Marshall decided to give Tommy a year. So Tommy got the interim tag for the year, which we were all ecstatic about. Obviously, Tommy was my coach for 4 years prior. I think he knows the game really well. I think he's a fantastic coach. So we're all thrilled and very motivated to try to get him get that interim tag removed and just make him the permanent head coach.
Yeah, and you said that you got to be one of the student athletes that got to interview some of these coaches that came in. What can you tell us about the caliber of these coaches? Were they coming from other D1 programs? Were they coaches that were already in seats already that had a long history of experience? Or what can you tell us about the candidates that you did get to talk with?
So I heard that over 20 to 30 head coaches interviewed for the job or applied for the job. And we ended up with 3 Division I coaches from other mid-major schools. Obviously, I won't reveal what schools they're from, but 3 other mid-major head coaches. And they were all great. They were all great candidates. But I am glad that Tommy got the interim job, to be sure.
You being a part of the interview process, what did you get to do? Bring me into kind of your role, because that's obviously an awesome opportunity for you.
Absolutely. It was a great experience, and I appreciate Mike Gilroy and some of the other administrators for cluing us in on this process and valuing our perspective. So yeah, they brought us in and they would bring the different coaches in, and we were given 15 to 20 minutes just to talk whatever we had on our minds, whatever questions we had, and kind of vet them to our standards, because obviously we do have a different perspective as athletes currently on the team. And so that was kind of all it was, just a quick little interview with them.
What did you learn about yourself when you were coming up with questions?
I think as myself and my teammates were thinking about questions, we kind of really got to know, what do we care about? What do we value? Because when you have to actually go down and write, all right, this is what I want to know about the coach, this is what I want to see from a coach, you get to know your own values. And then also in writing that report back to Gene Marshall about what did we think about the different coaches, it kind of, you see more into yourself and what perspective you have and what you value.
Yeah, and you stated that through this whole process, the interim tag being on Tommy Moon while they were going through the interview process, and then athletic director at Binghamton University, Gene Marshall, saying, we're going to keep Tommy, at least for this year. You said, we're going to do everything in our power as a team to get that interim tag pulled off of him and make him the full-time head coach. Why do you want to see that happen for Tommy?
Well, like I said, he was my coach for 4 years before, and I know the man, I love the man, I trust the man, and I really think he can take this program to the next level. Obviously, he was a student of Paul Marco for a long time, and Paul Marco was a great coach, but Tommy kind of saw, I think he has his own vision. He's not the same coach, and I really do believe Tommy can elevate this to the next level, this program to the next level. And I think wholeheartedly the whole team is 100% behind Tommy, and we want to win just as much for ourselves, for our parents, for the institution, but for Coach Tommy as well, because we love the guy and we think he can be great.
What is it about Tommy that speaks to you? I know you said you've had experience with him because he was on the coaching staff, but you're like, we love the guy. We want to see him do great. What is it about him, the person that he is, the way he goes about leadership, that would make you say, like, no, this is our guy. This is somebody we want to see. I mean, there's something about his essence that speaks to you. What is that?
Absolutely. I think first and foremost, there's no hollow words with Tommy Moon. If he says something, he means it and he delivers upon that. And I think that's how he gained our trust. And as he got the interim job, obviously from the spring to the fall, and he called a team meeting and said, you guys stuck with me throughout this process, and I'm sticking with you. Because he could have cut a bunch of guys and brought a bunch of new players and reworked the roster. He said, no, you guys stuck with me. I'm sticking with you. I mean, how can that not resonate with players? Being like, yes, you believe in us, and we believe in you, and we're going to do this together. And the other thing I think people forget is he just turned 33 or 34. He's young. He's really a player's coach. He played at a high level. He was an all-conference player for Binghamton. So he is a player's coach at the end of the day as well, which is something we love about him.
Yeah, one thing that you said in 22 plus years of broadcasting, and I've never heard it say the way that you said it. You said there's no hollow words with Tommy. To go into that a little bit deeper, that his word is his bond, and he means what he says. It's not just trying to say something to you in the moment to get you to do something and then not back it up. I mean, Floyd Little, a very good friend of mine, may he rest in peace. First day that I met him, he said to a few of us, your word is the most valuable thing you own. If you don't have your word, you have no worth. So to go a little bit deeper into how you know from experience that there's no hollow words with Tommy Moon.
So an easy example is we have fitness tests, and you have to pass a certain score on these fitness tests in order to play in the games in the fall. And there were times some players would cut lines or leave early, and Coach Moon was trying to implement a new culture, right? This is his first year. He wants to set the standard high.
Yeah.
And as he saw that some of these kids are really good players, and he could very easily blur the lines, kind of let them cheat a little bit, pass these tests so he could play in the fall. He said his word and he meant it. You've got to pass it. We do things the right way. We touch every line. We finish through everything. And he held everyone to the same exact standard. And now everyone's passed the test. And nobody's disgruntled, and everyone loves him all the more because he made kids run it multiple times. He didn't just say, he's good, so, he's probably a starter, we're going to let it slide. He holds everyone to the same standards. He said something, and he followed through with it.
Well, I can respect that, and my time talking with Tommy a couple months ago meant a lot to me, and I look forward to the next one, and even more so now with your description of him from your point of view. Will Mahoney here with me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of this Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University here in these Great Lakes Honda City studios. My nickname, and what people know me as and call me all over this country, is DT. But you have a forward that wears number 10 who's also DT. So
Yes.
How are we going to figure this thing out, Will?
Well, I guess you guys can do like a penalty kickoff for it or something.
I guess we can. I don't know who's going to be in goal for me, but I'm going to have to figure it out and make it happen. I will say this, though. The World Cup just finished up this year. It's been 3 decades since we've seen it in America, but we finally got to see it again. And, my countries of my heritage, my bloodline, going back to Italy as well as Spain. So I felt very spoiled to see Spain win their second, and I've been alive for both. So 2010 and now here in 2026. How did you experience the World Cup? What were your thoughts about it? Being a soccer player, I'm sure you were watching to see who was going to advance. And so I'd love to get your thoughts on the World Cup now that we've seen it back in America.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was great. And the number one thing is, going out to, a sports bar or a restaurant and then being around all these people that wouldn't normally be soccer fans, like a lot of friends of mine, and getting so excited about the USA and men's soccer. That's something we really don't see very often. And it was funny because obviously as a soccer player, people are coming up to me, what's this, what's that? Because a lot of Americans don't have a great understanding of the sport. Yeah. So I think the World Cup did a good job facilitating some good publicity for American soccer, and obviously disappointing to go out to Belgium that way. I mean, that was quite an embarrassing loss, but I think overall, I hope it did a lot to grow the game and to capture Americans' attention and say, hey, this really is a great, great sport. And then obviously overall the quality of the tournament was fantastic. Messi having all those goals and Holland, and I mean, it was just entertainment-wise was fantastic. Bar the final, which was a little bit boring, but other than that, I thought it was a great World Cup.
Well, and I can say wasn't boring to me. So to see Spain take it. So let's go into your history, Will. I mean, you come from McLean, Virginia. A lot of the guys to Binghamton University hail from the New York, New Jersey area, upstate New York City, Long Island area. You're coming from Virginia. Bring me into the road that got you to Binghamton and what made you say yes to the university?
Yes, sir. So my teammates, well, at my club, I played at BRYC back in Virginia, and 2 of the older guys on the 01 team actually played at Binghamton, Michael Bush and Will Noaker. So my club coach had connections to Paul, and then recruiting came my senior year, and they reached out, and kind of everything worked out from there. Binghamton is a great academic school. It's at a good price point, obviously, even though I'm out of state. Things like academic and athletic scholarship make it very affordable. And honestly, Paul Marco, even though obviously he's gone now, he was a great recruiter and brought me in. And the word from those older guys that were kind of like my mentors really convinced me, hey, this is a great place and you should check it out.
Yeah, and for everything that Binghamton is, they still care about the student and student athlete, as you said, the education component of it, one of the top 10 public Ivy League schools. And that to you means what? There's a lot of talk when it comes to student athletes nowadays of making money and, transferring, constant free agency. The conversations about playing time and making money and getting your name out there, as opposed to who's talking about education. So why go to a school that's going to demand so much out of you in the classroom and not just go to a school that maybe doesn't care about that anymore and just wants to see you on the pitch?
Well, I think first and foremost, I was looking forward to my own future, and I knew that a degree from Binghamton, especially from the School of Management, would pay dividends over time. And also, Binghamton competed in the America East, which is a Power Five league for soccer. I mean, we've got Vermont, UNH formerly, and Bryant, all teams ranked in the top 25 consistently, with Vermont winning it a few years back. So Binghamton was kind of a perfect storm of, hey, this is a great education. And this is also a great soccer conference where if you make first team all conference, most of those guys get drafted. Yeah. So, professional, it's not like it's like, oh, I'm just throwing it by the wayside. I'm just focusing on academics. You can really get both in Binghamton and challenge yourself both ways. So I think it was kind of the perfect storm for me as I wanted to challenge myself both academically and athletically.
Oh, and I can respect the fact that it means something to you. That's obviously incredibly important and great to hear from student athletes. And it's something that's echoed throughout the many programs at Binghamton University, that you do care about your education and you do care about your future of what you're going to do beyond soccer. So what has the classroom experience been like for you? You talk about being on the business side of things, and I know you have a bachelor's degree in business administration and with a management information systems concentration, and now working toward your MBA. So what can you say about the classroom experience at Binghamton so far? And then secondly, what you're working on for your MBA?
I think it's been great. I went to a very competitive academic high school, so that prepared me very well for the rigors of kind of college academics. But it's great. They set up a great support system. We have academic advisors. We have free tutoring. And then on campus, the School of Management advisors are great too. So they really set you up that you have resources if you want to succeed and you can work hard, you can succeed. Did my undergrad business administration with MIS, kind of wanted to come out with a more technical background. And then for my MBA, I'm doing a finance concentration. So I could come out with kind of both and be a little bit more varied in my resume. But yeah, I have nothing good things to say. Most professors are very accommodating towards athletics. It's been a great experience so far.
And for you, as you step forward, obviously that's going to be something for your history to help you in that next place for you beyond soccer. So what are the hopes after this graduate year for you? Do you hope to continue to play soccer in some way, shape, or form, and then move into something else? Do you already have a plan business-wise that you're going to be looking at? What are your kind of sights set for the future looking like right now?
I unfortunately, I don't think I'm good enough to quite play at the professional level. One of my old teammates, Will Noaker, who also played club with me, like I said, he's playing for the Cosmos right now. And you really have to kind of sacrifice your professional career to go after the soccer thing. Yeah. And I just don't know if I'm willing to even attempt it. But professionally from DC, looking to go back into that area, consulting somewhere in finance, eventually get into government contracting is kind of what I would like my path to be.
Well, I love hearing that. I love the sights set on the nation's capital, and I hope for good things to go forward with you. You said, I don't know if I'm good enough to do it. I'm going to let you take a seat while I talk about what you have done. In your freshman season in 2022, appeared in 11 games with 2 starts as a freshman, had an assist against UMBC on November 1st, and made the America East honor roll, as well as a member of both the fall and spring AD honor roll. Your GPA had to be 3.3 or higher for that to happen out of 4. In your sophomore season of 2023, appeared in 12 matches, more starts there with 5, made the America East Commissioners honor roll of a GPA of 3.5 or better, and made the fall and spring AD honor rolls again. In your junior season in 2024, appeared in 3 matches with a pair of starts, inducted into the National College Athlete Honor Society in April 2025, so a shorter season for you. And then your senior season, 15 matches, 14 starts, named to the America East All-Academic Team, and then you had assists against Mount St. Mary, CCSU, and Lafayette. You were named to the College Sports Communicators CSC Academic All-District Team. You were named an America East Presidential Scholar Athlete for completing your undergraduate degree with a 3.75 GPA or higher out of 4, member of the America East Commissioners Honor Roll again, and the Fall and Spring Binghamton AD Honor Roll. So you have proven that the student and student athlete is very alive with you, and the longer you've been at Binghamton, the more times we've seen you on the pitch and the more times we've seen you start. So what can we anticipate for 2026?
Yeah. First of all, my junior year was actually a redshirt year.
Yeah.
I kind of struggled with some
right?
hamstring problems. But yeah, I appreciate that. I think my mother is very happy that I kept my grades so high. But I believe I've gotten better throughout the years. The coaches have done a great job helping me to develop. And I think the biggest jump from the years past to last year to this year is that another thing about Tommy Moon is he builds confidence. And I think that was kind of what I lacked as a player. And the more I'm playing for Tommy, the higher my confidence gets. I think I'll have my best season yet. I do believe I can be an all-conference player. I think a lot of us can be all-conference players because Tommy is just taking us to another level. Yeah. But I expect good things for myself and for the team, to be sure.
I know that there was some distance in timing, but were you familiar with Will Saxon before Binghamton, or did that happen at Binghamton?
Yes. So I was a senior in high school and he was a freshman. And one of my good friends was his neighbor and said, "Hey, this kid's my neighbor. He's taking soccer pretty seriously. You know, why don't you introduce yourself and, you know, kind of just say hi because he wants to do what you're doing. He wants to play Division I soccer." And we sort of struck up a friendship from there and we stayed connected. And then when it came time he was like, "Hey, you know, what about Binghamton?" I put in a word to the coaches and said, "Hey, I've got a good friend from back home. He's a good kid. He's very similar to me, athletic, hard worker, good student." And Paul and Tommy ended up taking him, which is just thrilling for me because, like I said, he's like a little brother to me. So absolutely thrilled to have him up here.
So having that connection with Will, and then beyond Will, to look at the fact there's a couple other guys from the state of Virginia, DT that we mentioned, from Ashburn, Virginia, from Riverside. Then we have also from Riverside and hailing from Leesburg, Virginia, Alex Balke. And on top of those two gentlemen, we also have from Yorktown and hailing from Arlington, Virginia, Henry Topp, as well as Light Ridge alum from Aldie, Virginia. We have Ryan Conti. So were you familiar with any of these guys? And is it your fault, Will, that we have so much Virginia on this team right now?
No, like I said, there were guys before me that Coach Marco just liked to recruit from Virginia. Soccer is huge in that area. It's very interesting to me. Upstate New York really only has a few competitive teams. Where you go down to Virginia, we've got 10 to 15 always competing for state cups and for that top space in the state. So it's a very competitive soccer area. And I knew some of the guys because obviously you play on different clubs teams. A lot of them were younger than me, but kind of through connections, I knew about most of them. They're all great guys, and it makes it easy as taking freshmen home from breaks and stuff because we all live kind of around the same area.
And you talk about living from around the same area for some of you, but outside of that, we have Munich, Germany, Jerusalem, Israel. We have Renana, Israel. We have Godalming, England, as well as Barcelona, Spain, that are on this roster. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody here. And then outside of, the New Jerseys and the Massachusetts and obviously the state of New York, we have Limassol, Cyprus, which is in the Middle East. That's also a part of this team. And then Banga, Ethiopia. So just what this mashup of the team looks like, to have a lot of international as well as in-state for you in Virginia, and then have the Northeast mixed into that as well.
I think that's one of my favorite things about playing men's soccer in college over the last few years. And I think it's a strength of college soccer in general is, I got to play with kids from all over the country and all over the world. And what an incredible experience. And having obviously the commonality being soccer bringing us together, but these guys are my brothers, throughout the years all over the world. And to get to know them and get to know their cultures as well has been a really, really fascinating and enjoyable experience, to be sure.
Will Mahoney here with me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in this Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. Your first match this season will be in just a couple days. This Thursday, August 20th, you'll be on the road in Emmitsburg, Maryland to go up against Mount St. Mary's. And then your first home match is right after that this coming weekend, August 23rd on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time against George Washington University. So just all the practices that led up to this point, and knowing that this week is game week and you will have 2 matches happening before we see next Monday.
Yes, sir. Yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously, Maryland's a little closer to me, so I have some family and friends there, and just can't wait to get started. Tommy keeps referring to it as a project. Every day we get better. Every day we look to improve on something, and that's how we're approaching this. Every game is an opportunity to show our stuff as well, to improve on what we've already been working on. So I'm really excited.
And I love the fact that we have a ton of home matches this season, especially coming up very early in the first 6 matches for Binghamton men's soccer. 4 of those 6 will be at home at the Bearcat Sports Complex. August 23rd against George Washington, September 2nd on a Wednesday against Colgate, September 5th on a Saturday against CCSU, and September 12th on the following Saturday against Lemoyne. Before we hop out of here, Will, I would love to play some rapid fire. Puts me and you on the hot seat. We can ask any question about any topic. Doesn't have to be soccer, doesn't have to be sports. And you go first, then I'll follow. So we'll go 1 and 1, and we'll go back and forth for a couple here. What is your first question for me?
My first question is, how long have you had the mustache for, and what inspired it?
So the overall, the goatee, is that
The
what we're
goatee.
saying?
Sorry, goatee.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you're good. Because I will tell you this. I've gotten to act in 2 movies in the last 2 years, and they took my goatee and they kept my mustache. And I told them, I said, I really don't like this get in my van approach. Like, I did that. The mustache, I just don't think mustaches. Listen, I like my facial hair. My mustache came in when I was like 12 years old because of being Italian and Hispanic. But, you know, the goatee's been rocking in my world since I got to think about this now. Since 2019, around April of 2019. So it's been a little over 7 years. And the inspiration for it was that I always wanted to have a goatee. I mean, full disclosure, I was with somebody and she told me I wasn't allowed to have facial hair. We broke up, and I was like, why the hell did I even listen to that? So I got my facial hair. I love it. She hated it. Everybody that's seen it loved it except for her seeing it afterward, which, you know, to me was like, all right, I mean, that's fine. And so I will say the inspiration was I always wanted to do it. And then I'll do different things with it. I'll design it a certain way. And it's an ode to the fact that, you know, I would like to think that my Tony Stark Iron Man kind of essence comes through sometimes. So I would say shout out to Robert Downey Jr. for maybe some inspiration. My question back to you, you do not have a lot of facial hair. If you were to do something facial hair wise, would it be a mustache? Would it be a goatee? Would it be a full-on beard? Would it be the chin strap? What would Will Mahoney do?
I think I would probably go for full beard.
Okay.
I think I would probably go for full beard. Similarly to you, the women in my life tell me that they prefer it clean shaven, so that's why I kind of keep it a little bit more trim. But I think I would go for the full beard. My dad rocks kind of a more full beard. I think I could do it if I wanted to. I think if I had to do one, I would do the beard.
Well, I will tell you from experience, be who you are, do what you want to do, and the right woman would appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
What is your next question for me, Will?
Okay. Obviously, you run a successful media conglomerate station, whatever you want to call it. How did you get into that? Were you always interested in that from a young age? And why do you love it?
Yeah, no, great question. I, grew up 5 years old was when I first started typing on my dad's word processor, which was a typewriter that actually had a little screen, and it's in my office is connected to my studio, and my office has the word processor in it to remind me how I started, why I'm doing what I do. I've always been a storyteller. I typically wear a ring that has a feather pen on it to remind me that a pen and paper will never be undefeated, or is undefeated, will never go out of style, I should say. And so being a storyteller, having a photographic memory, loving sports, playing sports, and just wanting to bring people together, wanting people to be seen. I know that my superpower is that nobody is ever going to do anything like me. I know if I put my stamp on it, it's mine. And I just had that faith and belief in myself of saying, these are my, like, I have a passion for sports, a passion for people, a passion for making people laugh, bringing people together, being a storyteller. Why would I not turn the mic on and do something with this? So I banked on myself. I believed in myself. I hit a lot of walls. I hit a lot of disrespect. I hit a lot of very low pay and bouncing around the United States. And ultimately at 26 years old with 27 cents in my pocket and $103 in my bank account and living with my grandma so that she didn't have to go to a nursing home and I was taking care of her, I started my company and I got an LLC, and that was over 14 years ago. Why do I love doing it? My world is tiny. I've met people from all over the world, all over the country, and I have this beautiful blessing of being in my hometown, but then getting to travel the world. And the fact that people in Utah and California and Texas and Florida and, you know, the Dakotas know about me. I mean, I said to God, I want people in Idaho to know who I am, and not for my ego and not for like my accolades, but because I wanted to bring them God. I wanted to bring them positivity. I wanted to show people that we can truly do something special and be consistently good, not occasionally great. And now I cover a conference who has Idaho and Idaho State. So God said, what do you want? And I told him, and we have a partnership with the entire Big West Conference in California. So he brought the West Coast to my doorstep, and he's constantly shown me that little kid passion will always be met by more than what I could have asked for. So I'm in it because I love it. And honestly, I feel like I'm 21 years old coming out of college, running into this fire. And, you know, to feel that way 22 years in is pretty special.
That's awesome. That is absolutely incredible. And as a Christian myself, I think that is absolutely a wonderful perspective to have. I think that's awesome.
Well, if I can do anything in this world, it's to remind people that God loves them. And no matter how long they've run in the opposite direction, the moment you turn around and put your arms out, you will get the greatest embrace that you've ever had. So
I love it.
My question back to you, Will, is what role has faith played in your life, and how do we see it in your daily?
Oh, it's huge. I would say it's the most important thing to me. And kind of a funny story about recruiting that involves Binghamton is so my oldest sister played Division I soccer at Siena. And I grew up my whole life with the goal of playing Division I soccer. And throughout high school, I played on a good team. We're, you know, one of the best teams in the state, won conferences and all that. And so I knew I was good enough to play at the Division I level, but I tore my hamstring. Junior year was COVID for me. Mm-hmm. So there was no in-person recruiting. And then senior year, I tore my hamstring. So I had no recruiting. And my whole life plan of I'm going to go play Division I college soccer, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do, kind of fell by the wayside as time went on, and I didn't have any Division I offers. And I became not upset with God, but I was definitely frustrated. And I remember sitting in church one day being like, what am I doing? What's going on? What's the point? And I hear God say to me, you know, I love you. And I was like, of course. I agree. But in all my selfishness and my own plan and my own goals, I'd forgotten the most important thing. That God loves me and he's going to take care of me. And despite all my planning, he's the big guy and he knows what's going on. So I said, Lord, I'm handing over recruiting. I'm giving it to you. I'm not going to worry about it. I know you're going to take care of me. 2 days later, text from Paul Marco. Off and running from that. So that was a huge, huge moment for me in my faith journey, being like, whatever my own plans are, he's God. He loves me. He's going to take care of me. I got to work as hard as I can and know at the end of the day, he loves me.
I love that. I needed to hear that today. How did you literally hear him say, I love you? Or how did it come through?
We were just in praise and worship. And it just came to me. It wasn't an audible thing, but I knew it was God telling me that he loved me. And yeah, I just broke down crying, and you know, that really was a massive perspective change in my faith. And it's something that I try to keep in mind as I move forward every day. And then my faith day to day, as I try to read the Bible every day, I get on my knees and I pray every night. Like I said, it's the most important thing to me. And obviously we get distracted sometimes and focus on some other things, but I try to make it my priority in life to spread the kingdom of God, to be sure.
Well, I appreciate it. I respect it. Like I said, I needed to hear that today. And it's just funny how when he's telling you something, and like I said something to him yesterday and he was like, done. Okay. I got you. And yeah, it just hit me some kind of way. What's your final question for me, Will?
All right. My final question is, who's going to win the American East Men's Soccer Championship this year?
Well, I hope it starts with a B and ends with Binghamton. So, but we shall see. I will say this: Mr. Marco kept his word to me and gave me that scarf so I could rock the B in my studio at all times, regardless of what we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's a good conference, like you said, and Vermont not only good in the America East, but a national champion. So I'd like to see another green out there doing its thing. I mean, that would be nice to see. But I'm definitely going to be out there and get myself to at least one of the matches here. It's really important to me to be out there, and I know I've been on the pitch at Binghamton to watch some soccer over these last few years, and so I'll make sure that I'm out there so you can see me and I can see you, and we can see a victory for many of these matches. So definitely looking forward to it. But yeah, I think if it starts with a B and ends with Binghamton, I'm not going to be mad about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Of course. My last question for you: if you and I were to do a wake-up call tour, and you came with me for a week, and we could go to any 5 cities in the world, where would you like to broadcast from?
Okay. I would say Dublin, number 1. I would say New York City, number 2.
Okay.
I would say DC, number 3, my home. I know I went 2 back-to-back, but those are 2 great cities of the world, and I love DC. I would say Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I would say Cape Town, South Africa.
Okay. I got to ask, because I know you described the ones here, but why Cape Town, South Africa? Why Buenos Aires, and why Argentina? And then the first one you had, Dublin, Ireland. Why those 3 international cities?
I had a friend recently go to Dublin, and he just said it was the best time. The people were fantastic. And I've also had 2 friends recently go to Buenos Aires. One, he was a skiing instructor or something, and he went down there, and he said it's an incredible time. And the kind of same thing for Cape Town is a very interesting mashup of cultures, being kind of more like colonial, like English with the native cultures, and how that's kind of developed into a modern city is very intriguing.
Well, I'd go on that tour. So let's make it happen. Let's figure out at least one of those cities to
Let's do it.
Get out there and do it. So spread the good word, spread the gospel, have some fun, and obviously talk some soccer as well. Will, I was looking forward to this. It's funny how good energy is just something that comes and you trust it. And when we set up this opportunity, as soon as the name came through, something inside of me was like, this is good energy. This could be a good one. And it did not disappoint by any stretch of the imagination. So remember that God does love you. He's always got you. And if you need a reminder, you come to me, and I'll look forward to seeing you this season, talking with you soon. But honestly, this was a very much appreciated and well-needed conversation. So thank you for it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, take care, and we'll see you this Thursday in the first match for Binghamton, and then at home on Sunday, August 23rd. And we look forward to the 2026 campaign. Talk soon.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care. That comment from Will Mahoney once again on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate y'all for being here, hanging out with us, and we have taken very minimal step-asides because I believe in content here with everything that I do, including on Wake Up Call. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we will wrap up today's show with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's inside of these Great Lakes Honda City studios. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Chris Rauda.
And Colleen Rakowski from Gray's Craze of Clay.
It's a fun, innovative, upscale catering solution. We've turned eating into a whole new experience. Each of our boards is packed with delicious mix of artisan cheeses. We use premium cured meats, fresh fruits, nuts, and all of the sweet touches that really bring out the best in every perfect bite.
We offer something as small as a grab and go that feeds 1, maybe 2 people, to our large board that can serve anywhere up to 25, 28 people. So we have the ability to really meet and hopefully exceed all of our customers' expectations when it comes to the different varieties of things that we have.
Charcuterie boards or boxes are healthy, fresh, delicious. They're made to order. We're baking the breads here daily. We're baking the cookies here daily. All of our dips are homemade, made in-house. All of our spreads are all made in-house.
When you open that board or box that we have delivered or you have picked up, we want you to know that it was made with care and designed to completely elevate your event, celebration, or meeting.
We've catered parties and events for up to 300 people. So if you're walking in to grab something for lunch or something for date night or movie night, that's great too. Our events go from you eating in the car on the way home to a catering event in a rehearsal dinner or cocktail hour or party.
When we do, again, know what the event is, specifically for a wedding, we like to schedule tastings so the bride and groom can come in and see what we have to offer, and we can then, as we talk, to try to understand what they're looking for, what the venue's like. We do like to have that one-on-one interaction when it comes to catering bigger events.
Our address is 4599 State Route 31, Suite 5, in Clay, New York. We're on the corner of Route 31 and Henry Clay at Clay Marketplace.
You can order on the phone by calling area code 315-409-4171 or online at grayscraze.com/clay-ny. Come visit us at Gray's Craze of Clay, New York,
where we want you to celebrate everything.
Hey everybody, this is Rockney Roberts from Willow Rock Brewing Company. We are here in Cicero at the Willow Rock Pizza Pub.
And I'm Kevin Williams, also from Willow Rock Brewing Company. Happy to be here and happy to be partnering with CNS and Dan Tortora.
You want some place where you can feel comfortable and hopefully ingratiate yourself with the community. And Kevin, he grew up right down the road from here. I grew up in Brewerton, so not too far away. We know the area, we know the people, they're great, and we were just really excited to be able to come to the area.
Yeah, and having the opportunity to meet some of these coaches, some of the people in general already, and seeing the CNS colors kind of around, and already partnering on a smaller level with individual teams really made this make sense to us to really formalize kind of a partnership with the school and get this rolling.
You know, Willow Rock to me has always been about high quality beverages, high quality experiences, and now high quality food in our pizza pub. You know, that was something new for us when we came to Cicero. Right from the drop, we knew we were going to have a focus on the highest quality food to go with our high quality beer. At the Willow Rock Pizza Pub, you're getting high quality, hand cut, top notch ingredients. We're open for lunch. That's a really important thing for us, is to be able to get that person in here like, hey, you only got 30 minutes for lunch, but we're gonna have something for you that you can get quickly and available to everybody.
Yeah, we wanted something that was just a little bit outside the box, a little bit outside of comfort zone, but still something that you could rely on to be consistent and easy to look at and easy to be like, oh, I can see myself eating this. I can see myself wanting to have that more than once. Eating a whole pizza, like our beef on weck pizza, I've never seen one anywhere. It's just a great ideas, great inspiration across the board. We're their spot to stop. We're their friendly neighborhood watering hole, as well as pizza place and place to stop for a restaurant. Not just beer drinkers here. We've got wines, we got cocktails, we got non-alcoholic stuff for the kids.
The location is more important today than it ever has been before, and we're lucky enough to be here in Cicero. The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is a place where you can bring your family. You can come in, you can grab a soda, you can relax. You can come after a game, before a game, your parents, your grandparents. Our goal is to make sure that everyone's comfortable here. We want students, we want athletes, we want your coaches. It's going to be a good time. So come here, enjoy the high quality food, high quality beverage that we're going to offer to everybody. And hey, go North Stars.
We're so happy to have the North Stars. We are very much a kid-friendly establishment. We have tons of space outside for everybody to be playing outside, as well as listening to live music, enjoying some pizza.
The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is open 6 days a week here in Cicero. That is Tuesday through Sunday. And our website is willowrockbrew.com, and our socials are at Willow Rock Brew. So find us on the net, find us in person. We'll see you soon.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Big West, Only the bold.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. GG Cards and Breaks open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5. Make sure you make your way out to GG Cards and Breaks to be a big kid, stay a big kid, and to go out there and just have fun and make memories with those that you love. It truly is a wonderful, wonderful place to go and connect you to the teams you love, the players you love, the sports you love, the games you love, all in one place where the attention to detail is great. The amount of work put in is incredible, and I can't say enough good things about GG Cards and Breaks. It's just truly a place that feels like a home away from home. And I've made so many great friendships there simply from just connecting over sports cards, right? Pieces of cardboard. And the beauty that comes from all that, the memories I have with my mom and continue to have with my mom and with my dad and continue to have with him. And of course, you know, my memories with my grandmothers when they were here on this earth, and the connection that we have to sports cards from the time that we spent going out to shops and whatnot. So I just want to thank GG Cards and Breaks for being a wonderful place for all of us to go to, whether you've collected cards before or whether you're doing it for the first time. Much appreciation for all that is GG Cards and Breaks. Go and visit them today for singles, packs, boxes, graded cards, and more. And while supplies last, Disney Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, as well as One Piece, soccer, hockey, baseball, basketball, football. So many wonderful things at GG Cards and Breaks. We look forward to seeing you over there today on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. It is now time for our final portion of today's broadcast and every Tuesday broadcast of Wake Up Call, featuring the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's. The ingredients to success coming to you, and always happy to bring you the ingredients to success. Avicolli's is on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. They are open 7 days a week, lunch, dinner, and drinks. Of course, if you're drinking, only of age and drink responsibly over at Avicolli's, and they have fantastic pizza, wings, antipasto, their soup, their Italian wedding soup, I absolutely love. Their tortellini, I put chicken on mine, put shrimp on yours, or chicken, or whatever you'd like. There's a fantastic menu. It feels like that home Italian cooking. I love going to Avicolli's, and we're there every single month with Liverpool High School, celebrating Liverpool's student athletes, coaches, administration, and the greater community. We look forward to seeing you at our next event coming up, and we just had one there. So make sure that you pay attention to our social media to find out when I will be at Avicolli's again. Today's topic for the ingredients to success: time management. And I laugh when I say it because people that know me know that I could be a million times better at my time management. I know that this is one of the things that I have to work on. I'm not going to call it a weakness. I'm going to call it an area where I can progress forward, an area where I can excel. And, you know, I think we all struggle at times, at some point with time management. You know, we could be really good at time management as an individual, and then you have kids, and that changes things, right? Because you could set up everything, the kids are fine, everybody's good, you get ready to go, and this kid doesn't feel good, or this kid doesn't want to go. They wanted to go, you know, yesterday, they wanted to go this morning, they wanted to go 5 minutes ago, but they don't want to go now, and maybe they're throwing a little bit of a tantrum, and you got to figure things out. So I would say that, you know, time management is something that affects us all at some point in our lives, and we have to figure out how to navigate through it, because time is something that you can never give back. Time is a gift that doesn't get returned to you. I mean, I shouldn't say that, because there is a thing in the Bible that says, you know, I will return back all the time that you've lost. So it's not that time doesn't come back to you in some way. What I'm saying is, whatever you do today at 11 o'clock in the morning on August 18th of 2026, you can't come back to this date at this time ever again. So how you spend your time is incredibly important. Who you spend it with, what you spend it doing, what you allow yourself to be a part of, and what you choose not to be a part of. I mean, there's things that I've chosen to be a part of in the past that I no longer choose to be a part of, because I didn't think my time was valued, so I took my time away. You know, you have to stand up for yourself. And there's things where I can't control. Like if I want to go and do something, I can't control who's going to be there in public, right? I can choose who I eat with, but I can't choose who I'm eating around, right? If I go to a public restaurant, I can't choose who comes in that restaurant, but I can choose who I sit with. And so, you know, a part of your time management as well is, who are you sitting with? Who are you spending time with? And what are you putting yourself around? Because, you know, there are positive influences, there's negative influences. And the conversations you have, what you consume does show up in other places. Like if you consume certain type of music that talks about certain things, you might find those things appear in your life because you're putting yourself around it consciously, subconsciously. So I think time management also has to do with, who am I spending my time with? What am I spending my time doing is incredibly important. And, you know, the normal definition that most people think of when it comes to time management is how good am I on time? If I know I have to be somewhere and I know how far it is, then what time do I know I need to leave by? You know, I'm one of those people where I'm like, oh, if I have a meeting at 11:30, my brain's like, oh, leave it at 11:30 or leave at 11:25 or something like that. And it's, no, you got to leave at 11 o'clock. You have to maybe leave at 11:05, but not 11:15. And now with all the construction in Syracuse and central and upstate New York, now we have to plan out even more time. If it takes you 20 minutes to get there, don't give yourself 15 minutes and then have to speed. And then on top of that, if it takes you 20 minutes to get there with all the construction now, maybe you got to give yourself 40 minutes. Maybe you got to give yourself 35. I have a meeting right after the show today, and I'm looking at the clock saying to myself, okay, this is how much time I have if the show ends right now. If it ends 5 minutes from now, am I going to have enough time to get to where I need to get to? So I think that that's all incredibly important when we talk about time management, because, you know, I value my time, and somebody who is late a lot of the time, and speaking of myself, when someone's late with me, I don't like it. I'm like, man, I don't want to sit in the parking lot. I don't like waiting. Do they not know that I have other things to do? So I can see it from my point of view, which most people can, right? We see when someone's wasting our time or making us wait, but do we see when we're making others wait is the real question. And that's the true test of growing as a human being, and really caring about others and making sure that you're living life where it's not all about you, is being cognizant of, nobody likes to wait. Nobody likes to be stood up. Nobody likes to have something change last second. So to do your best to not let that happen, right? And to make sure that what you promised you're going to do and what time you promised you're going to be there, that you actually hold to those promises. Again, going back to what we talked about with Will and what I've constantly mentioned with Floyd Little, your word is the most important thing that I mean, your word is the most valuable thing you own. If you don't keep your word, you lose your value. And I think that is something that, I mean, that's never left me when Floyd said that to me. That has never once left my mind, that you have to keep your word if you want to have value in this world. Because you tell somebody you're going to do something, you better do it. You commit to something, you better commit to it. And that's why I'm more careful with the things that I commit and I agree to now, as opposed to what I did before. I would agree to everything, and then I'd be like, okay, well, how am I supposed to do this? Did I really want to do that? Now I sit and I think about what is important to me. What do I want to do? What do I want to commit to? What's important for me to do over Zoom? What's important for me to drive out to? Like, what can I do to truly show that this matters to me? And if it doesn't matter to me, then why am I going? There's things that I used to go to, bend over backwards for, and do everything I possibly could to get there. And some of those things have changed now. I'm not pushing myself to be in some of those places that I bent over backwards to be, because I know I'm not appreciated there. But then there's other things where I would rather drive 3 hours to one meeting than drive 15 minutes to another one, because I'm not valued at that one that's 15 away, but the one that's 3 hours away could be one of the greatest opportunities that I've ever had. So, to me, it's not about time and distance. It's about where do I want to be? Where do I feel like I'm valued? And then to make the time for those things. I will happily make time for something that's 1,000 miles away more than something that's 15 miles away if I feel like I'm valued more there, or that's a better opportunity. I'm willing to go where I need to go. If there's a great opportunity in Spain, I'll take a flight and go. If there's a great opportunity in Florida, I'll hop on a plane and go. If there's something waiting for me 3 hours away in New Jersey or Pennsylvania or whatever, I will make the time to go out there. It doesn't have to be in my backyard. I am willing to go the extra mile, because the best things in life are hard to find. So if you pigeonhole yourself to, it's got to be within this distance or this time period, that's not how God works. And I think, he humbles all of us when we tell him how it's going to go down. Because when you try to play God, God will humble you very clearly to remind you his seat versus yours, which I don't knock him for at all. I think we should know our place, and our place is below him. We're not above him. And so to me, when it comes to time management, I have to get better at being on time and giving myself enough time. But I definitely don't agree to as much as I used to agree to. I definitely don't back-to-back things as much as I used to do. I mean, I used to make my schedule, shows 9 to 11, schedule a meeting at 11:30, schedule a meeting at 12:15, schedule a meeting across town at 2 o'clock when I know that the 12:15 is going to take a little bit longer and the 11:30 might run into the 12:15, then record something at 3, then record something at 4, then record something at 5. Like, I don't do stuff like that anymore. I'm extremely busy, but I give myself time to rest my voice, time to breathe, and I try to give myself distance between meetings. So, I mean, I think today I could have given myself a better distance, but I think I gave myself enough of a cushion that's improvement on what I used to do, but then still saying, okay, let's see if this works today, because maybe I got to give myself a little more time in between. I do not want to be late for anybody, and I think some people, like my parents, would say you're late all the time, but it is never wanting to waste somebody's time. It's never meant to be disrespectful, but I have to get better at time management, because actions are louder than words. You can say you're sorry a million times, but until you show up on time, those sorry a million times don't matter. So time management is incredibly important. It's an ingredient to success, because it will help you in professional life. It'll help you personally. If someone's going on a date with you and deciding whether or not they want to commit to a relationship with you, time management is important. If you have kids and you're trying to get them to school and practice, time management is important. If you are running a business, time management is important. If you're getting on a plane to go on vacation, time management is important. So there's never a time where time management is not of value to you. So if you struggle with it, give yourself a little bit more time, calculate how much time it takes to get there, and then back that out. Say I have an 11:45 meeting, so I have to leave comfortably by 11:15 or 11:20, but maybe I should leave by 11 just to give myself a little more time to get there. I have a meeting this Friday, and I know what time it is, and I know the distance, So I've actually bracketed in to give myself an extra hour in case there's traffic or something happens, because there's no way, shape, or form that I'm showing up late to this meeting. So we can all get better. Me, in this topic, I'm one of the worst when it comes to time management. So I hold myself accountable as much as I would ask you to do the same thing. And let's work on it so that we can make sure that we're there where we need to be comfortably, on time, hopefully early, and that we treat other people the way we want to be treated. Those are the ingredients to success. Proudly presented by Avicolli's. Go and see them 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. The outdoor patio is open with the great weather. Make sure you go out there. I've been out there numerous times with Liverpool Athletics, and I absolutely love it. And a Liverpool alum in professional boxer Bryce Mills, who has a current record of 20 wins to 2 losses. So make sure that you come out and see us when we're out there. We always have great shows going on, and the community support has been incredible. There was a lady at the last show that just so happened to walk by, and I was like, we thank the community, we thank this, we thank that. And she's like, and the fans. And so she wanted to let us know, she supports Liverpool, and the timing was absolutely perfect. You can go back and watch the show and actually hear her say it. So shout out to that wonderful woman that embodied what I hope for, that somebody picks up what we're putting down. So thank you to Avicolli's. You can call them for takeout, delivery, and catering at 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100 for Avicolli's. You can order online at myavicollis.com, so make sure that you do that as well. With that being said, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day, and you stay safe. Thank you for being with us on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, as well as wakeupcalldt.mixlr.com. And many thanks to Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube for finding us by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora or Wake Up Call DT. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe, as well as download the show from all these channels. And many thanks to Great Lakes Honda City, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Mon Paz, the snack capital of the world, the Baked Potato Express, Gray's Craze of Clay, New York, Skippy's Ice Cream, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Mother's Cupboard, as well as Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicolli's, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Game Point Sports Complex, Willow Rock Pizza Pub, and the Willow Rock Brewing Company, where we had a fantastic show with a ton of people coming out for our lunch broadcast with the CNS Marching Band. Thanks to Drew, Rebecca, and everyone there, all the families, the administration of CNS that came out, as well as the students. God bless you all, and to everybody that watched and listened as well online. And of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your OnTech Charter High School in Syracuse, New York. The Wolfpack mentality comes to you every single week on Thursdays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, with student athletes, coaches, and more joining me to tell the greater story of the Wolfpack, of these Gray Wolves on OnTech Charter High School, as well as to tell their personal stories as well. OnTech is a beautiful and wonderful place that offers so many great things and great opportunities. They are truly a unique experience here in central and upstate New York. They do not have districts, so you can come to them from anywhere in New York State, and I implore you to do that. It is a fresh start for high school success with personalized learning, hands-on opportunities, strong student-staff relationships, and putting a premium on creating a healthy, caring community that focuses on the mental and physical health of teenagers. The leaders of the pack feature the leadership of the Gray Wolves at OnTech Charter High School, and that comes to you once a month. For more information, go to ontechcharter.com and go Gray Wolves. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Like today, you will find student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining me here on the broadcast. And of course, you can find all of our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist of over 150 episodes. You can also find the Bearcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, thank you to Jason Lucas, sports and entertainment vet. Thank you to Will Mahoney, Binghamton men's soccer student athlete hailing from Virginia. And thank you to Avicolli's for the ingredients to success. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I say God bless, no stress, do your best, have a great and beautiful day, and make sure you go and watch my special, my 3-part special from Willow Rock with CNS Marching Band, available to you on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT and on YouTube at Wake Up Call DT. Also find on X at Call DT all of our wonderful content, and on Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk soon. Stay safe.